The warm spring sunlight filtered through the leaves, shining on Tu Tien's small house. After many years of resentment, her life finally blossomed. The greatest joy was to reunite with her lost father. That day the bustling footsteps of the village chief and an old man shattered the usual peace. That man with a haggard appearance, sad eyes but shining with hope, held an old photo in his hand. He looked at Tu Tien with trembling eyes. His voice choked, "Are you Tu Tien?" Tu Tien's heart seemed to stop beating. She looked at the man in front of her in amazement, an indescribable emotion welling up in her heart. The village chief gently explained, "This is him, Tu Tien's father. He has been looking for his lost daughter for many years." Tu Tien could not hold back her tears. She ran to hug her distant father. In that warm embrace, the years of loneliness and misery seemed to disappear. The choked call "Dad" contained so many pent-up emotions. The news that Tu Tien had found her father quickly spread throughout the village. Everyone was happy and blessed her. Tu Tien was so happy that she couldn't express it in words. She called Jack, her voice trembling but filled with joy. Jack was also very happy for her, but in his heart a vague worry arose. He understood Tu Tien too well. She was too naive and gullible. Jack called Lloyd's mother and told her about the incident. Mrs. Lloyd also had the same feelings as Jack. She immediately went to visit Tu Tien, witnessing the emotional reunion with her own eyes. However, in the conversation with her newly adopted father, Mrs. Lloyd noticed something unusual. Tu Tien had no memories of her childhood or her father. This made Mrs. Lloyd even more worried. Jack, even though he was far away, felt uneasy. He decided to end the trip earlier than expected, and quickly returned to Tu Tien. He wanted to be with her, protect her and learn more about this new father. A few days later Jack returned. He went straight to Tu Tien's house, where her father was staying. It was the first time Jack met the man Tu Tien called father. The father had the gentle, simple appearance of a farmer. He warmly welcomed Jack continuously, thanking him for loving and taking care of his daughter. "Thank you for treating my daughter well," the father said, his eyes filled with gratitude. "I have been looking for her for years, thinking it was hopeless. Luckily I met her again." Jack replied politely, but he could not help but observe in his heart. He noticed the sincerity in the man's eyes, but also felt something vague and elusive. During the family meal, the atmosphere was warm, but also a bit awkward. Tu Tien kept picking up food for her father, her eyes filled with love. Jack tried to talk to his father, asking about Tu Tien's past, but the stories were all very general, without any specific details. After the meal, Jack found an opportunity to talk to Tu Tien privately. He gently asked Tien, "Do you remember anything about your past? About your father?" Tu Tien shook her head, her expression vague. "I don't remember anything, Jack. I just feel very happy to see my father again." Jack hugged her, gently stroking her hair. "I understand. But you have to be careful. Remember that I'm always by your side." In the following days, Jack stayed by Tu Tien's side, observing and learning more about her new, adopted father. He talked to Lloyd's mother, sharing his doubts. Lloyd also agreed with Jack. Both of them felt that something was wrong. However, with Tu Tien's love and trust for her father, Jack and Lloyd's mother could only silently watch, hoping that everything would be fine. They were always by Tu Tien's side, providing her with a solid support in her journey to find happiness. The reunion and first meeting between Jack and Tu Tien's new adopted father opened a new chapter, promising many unexpected developments and challenges ahead. Jack's sincere love and Lloyd's mother's thoughtful care will be a great source of encouragement for Tu Tien in this new life. Jack loves and cares for Tu Tien even more. He was always by her side, encouraging her, taking care of her every meal and sleep. He took her to regular prenatal checkups, listening to every word the doctor said. He wanted to make up for the hardships she had endured before. Tu Tien, was pregnant with overwhelming happiness, loved and protected by her loved ones. She clearly felt the changes in her body. Every day was a new and wonderful experience. Jack's loved Lloyd's mother's care, and the presence of her newly adopted father, created a happy home, where love and life were blossoming. Meanwhile, Jack was still secretly following and learning more about Tu Tien's father. He hoped that all his worries were just suspicions, and that this father was truly a good person who loved his daughter, but Jack's intuition still told him that something was not right. Will this happiness last, or will there be more storms in Tu Tien's life? In the days after reuniting with her father, Tu Tien's life seemed to have turned a new page. She felt happier than ever, living in Jack's loved Lloyd's mother's care, and now also in the presence of her father. However, one morning, Tu Tien felt unusual changes in her body. She felt more tired, uncomfortable, and had other strange signs. Her intuition told her to buy a pregnancy test. When the test showed two bright red lines, Tu Tien was stunned for a moment. Joy exploded in her heart, mixed with a bit of shock. After so many years of enduring the sadness of not being able to have children, now a miracle had come to her. She was carrying a small creature, the crystallization of the love between her and Jack. Tu Tien hurriedly ran to find Jack, her eyes filled with happiness. When he saw the pregnancy test in her hand, Jack was stunned for a moment, then his face lit up with joy. He hugged Tu Tien tightly, holding her close, whispering words of love and happiness. I love you, Tien. We're going to have a baby. Jack's voice trembled with emotion. He kissed Tu Tien's forehead and cheeks, his eyes filled with love and protection. Tu Tien also hugged Jack tightly, tears of happiness rolling down her cheeks. She felt as if all the pain and resentment in the past had disappeared. Now she had Jack, had a father, and was about to have another little angel. Her life was finally complete. Right after that, Jack called Lloyd's mother to tell her the good news. When she heard the news, Lloyd could not hide her joy. She had been waiting for this day for a long time. She hurried to visit Tu Tien, hugged her, congratulated her, and told her to take care of her health. "What wonderful news, Tien," Lloyd said emotionally. "You must eat well and rest a lot. I will always be by your side to take care of you." In the general joy, Tu Tien's newly adopted father also seemed very happy. He constantly asked and cared about the health of his daughter and future grandson. However, in the overwhelming happiness, there was still a bit of worry in Jack and Lloyd's mother's hearts. They still did not completely trust Tu Tien's newly adopted father. However, they decided to put aside their doubts to enjoy this sacred happiness with Tu Tien. When Tu Tien announced that she was pregnant, joy exploded in the small house. Jack and Lloyd's mother were extremely happy, showing special care and concern for Tu Tien. But the newly adopted father's reaction was somewhat different, making Jack and Lloyd's mother even more cautious. At first, he also seemed happy, smiling and constantly congratulating his daughter. He rubbed Tu Tien's belly, his voice full of affection. "My daughter is going to have a grandchild. How wonderful." However, his joy did not seem to last long. After hearing Tu Tien talk about the signs of morning sickness and the changes in her body, he began to show unusual signs. He spoke less, His eyes no longer shone with joy like before. Occasionally he mumbled to himself, his face showing worry, even confusion. Jack and Lloyd's mother noticed this change. They exchanged glances. Suspicions arose in their hearts. Lloyd's mother had experienced many storms in life. She had experience in looking at people. She felt the insecurity in this man's eyes and attitude. "Do you seem unwell?" Lloyd's mother asked gently, trying to understand. The father quickly forced a smile and waved his hand. "It's okay, I'm just a little worried about Tien's health. She suffered too much before." However, Jack still couldn't rest assured. He noticed that the father often asked Tu Tien about her health, but his questions seemed a bit unusual, sometimes revolving around issues that had little to do with pregnancy. Once when Tu Tien was talking about her strange cravings, the father asked, "Do you crave the foods of the past? The foods that I used to make for you when you were little?" This question made Tu Tien bewildered. She shook her head. I don't remember anything, Dad." The father's eyes flashed with disappointment, but he quickly regained his normal expression. Jack increasingly felt that something was wrong. He began to pay attention to the smallest details in his father's life. He saw that he often answered the phone, spoke in a secretive tone, and seemed to be hiding something. Lloyd's mother also kept observing. She noticed that her father seemed to be trying to find out about Jack's family's financial situation. Questions about Jack's work and wealth were asked, in a tactful but no less obvious way. "I saw that he didn't seem happy when he heard that Tu Tien was pregnant," Jack whispered to Lloyd's mother one evening. Lloyd's mother said, "I feel the same way. His joy doesn't seem complete. We have to be careful, Jack." Meanwhile, Tu Tien still naively trusted her father. She happily shared everything with him, including her future plans when the child was born. She did not notice the change in her father's attitude, always thinking that he was as happy as she and Jack. However, the father's unusual behavior sowed seeds of doubt in Jack and Lloyd's mother's hearts. They knew that Tu Tien's happiness might be threatened by a secret that her father was trying to hide. Were their premonitions correct? And what was that secret? Time would gradually reveal everything. Thank you for following our story. Wish you all the best.